yeah, other that is preparing to go live on YouTube. So I'm about to go live. So people who missed the class can see what we're doing. Okay. So good afternoon. That's it. All right. Somebody else coming into class. So good afternoon, everybody. Or good morning. I have another tutor who's on the yeah, people are joining very late. Okay, so back to work. Can you kindly come in and mute yourself? Or where is it on this thing? Anyway, hopefully everybody will mute themselves. So, are you seeing my screen, guys?
Not at the moment.
Okay, let's go back and share screen. I thought I'd share screen. Can you see it? You can see it now, right?
Yes, sir.
Seen it now, yeah.
Wonderful. All right, so this group has a running head. A running head for APA should take less than a line. So if your running head for your project is more than that, you, what is this? Can't see. Is there another? I don't know. There seems to be a chat and I can't see it. Anyway, so this is correct. And this is a page number. So Quanti API, this is right. And they have their title, Internet of Things sensors to aid in monitoring air pollution across their study. I think it's maybe in Kingston, Jamaica. And then they have a second page, which I don't think is for UTech tools. A second page with their names, and then they should have had a insert. So there's insert page break, or this definitely should be, you should not press enter. And what else I would say is manually wrong with this? I don't know about these two cover pages. I know it's one. And to be really technical, since I'm teaching what to do it, when you go here, you really should have inserted a different, you should insert section, there's another insert. There's an insert, I'm looking for the other inserts. Where is it? Over here. I don't know. Not page number. Where is the other inserts, guys? I can't even find it.
I think it's on the review tab.
It's under the review tab.
Mailing. Either review or mailings tab, one of them.
You know what I'm talking about? Insert caption. I want to make a new section. It's not review. Maybe it's view. One page. No, it's not view. It's not an insert. It must be insert. Let's see. Can be mailings references. Insert table cross section. Insert. This can be this hard. Insert footnote. Next footnote. Text. Update table of contents. Layout. Here it is on the layout. Okay, boy, that was so hard. That's on the insert. So I'm just going to say this will actually be a break. There by the way, there are different kinds of breaks. This is beyond this class. You should have run this by yourself in first year. Most of these things I actually figured out by myself. Nobody taught me. Technically, to do this well, you want to make what is called a section break. And the section break in this case should be on the next page. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm not really sure how to do it. That technically this should be I and then double I if there are two pages that could be a table of contents, which you don't need for this first thing. So that cover table should be one, and then this page should really be one because it's a new thing, and then it should have a different numbering style. Who gets into how to do it, you guys can figure that out. That is a minor thing. So here we are. Let's look at the project. So the project that everybody needs to do either individually or in groups is to do a concept note which has several sections, a background, a problem statement, a purpose statement, research questions, significant, delimitation, definition of terms and methods, and a reference list. In fact, in almost every style, but certainly AP, you always put an insert before the references. So that should be on another page. And unless they've changed it, because I have not memorized, become completely familiar with AP, but as far as I know, the AP expects this to be single space. So everything else is double space, But the APA for this is single space, like this, but it's not this indented. So just, I haven't memorized what the exact indentation is, but it's not as indented as that. They have kind of over indented it. I'm not sure. I'm sure there is actually a specific under that. So there's a specific rule, but that was going off the page, and that's still too much. So maybe there's some exact amount, I'm not sure, but it's something like that. That was just way overdone. So everybody, this is how your references look. And they shouldn't have, I see that they have all these text. I won't worry with that. It's not space after it. And then the appendix, again, by the way, they're showing you there's something called, where is it? I can't find it. Why it's not even under view? Everything in this thing is different. And you see here, everything is, there's these things that mean the page break. So again, they did not use, this just means that they press enter. So I'm going to get rid of some of these enters. And again, I'm going to insert a page break, or the appendix as who did what should be on a new page. Right. And by the way, I can take off that on the home, this little thing here, and we'll get rid of, see, that shows me I put page break. I can get rid of that if I don't want to see it. But what is nice is the rule for everybody is that your concept paper should have at least 5 peer-reviewed journals, and they have obviously more than that. In fact, let's glance at that first. So I see that they look at, they have a Springer. It seems like a textbook, but there's editors. So it looks like a textbook. And then this is a journal. This one is a journal. This one is, something is mixed up. Electronics is what? Is that a journal? But anything, something here is missing. So I'm just going to show people this for example. Yeah, you don't need to have Webster. I see that you guys using dictionaries. Dictionaries are not normally in this. I'll talk about that later, not as important. They have a conference, right? So an academic conference is fine, but you don't want mostly academic conferences. They have another, this looks like a textbook, but it's a press. It's either press or something that's I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Good, but that's fine. And then this one is a conference. This one, something is missing. Oh, I missed that with me. So 2 of them has, 3 of them have something. They're not APA format. So for a first attempt, this is actually pretty good. So I'm just, since I'm teaching, I'm not going to do this for anybody else. I'm just using their paper for assistance. So because they're getting assistance, since I'm showing you how to correct it, they are the ones who are most likely to get the A, because they get the assistance what they sent in their software early. So here's this paper. Right here in that thing, you have the exact. So this person didn't copy. All you have to do is this. See? You didn't put that it was, sorry, let's explain to you. This is the name of the author's first, then the year it was published, and the title of the article. It was in a journal called Electronics, but it was volume 8, issue 12, and probably on page 1375, something like that. Whatever, I think that's what it probably means. Don't copy all of that, what you actually have in there. Can you imagine your teacher? So this you don't, oh, that rest of it never copy. So when I copy it, don't copy the whole thing. That's fascinating. So I wanted to copy this. Let's copy that part right here. Maybe you had the same problem as me. Or I didn't paste it. Maybe I didn't paste it. But that is it, right? Everybody's what I'm saying? I'm not going to say this, but this was actually missing. And you see why I'm saying it's missing. You normally don't reference dictionaries, so I, as a general point, would say this should not be there. Because really you should be using your definition of pollution by looking at several pollution, internet things, etc., not a specific, but because it's working definitions. So let's move on to, there was one more. This one didn't say where it was published. This one doesn't say where, and this one actually also doesn't say where. Both of these things have problems. So this one, I'm just going to search them quickly. I'm going to put it straight into Google Scholar. And here we go. This is a reference, and see, they did not put in all of this in that conference. That was missing. Everybody following me? Is there anybody who's not following me? And then also for this one, stay right here. So now that, no, a different person. Saha and then Shaw, I think, or something like that. And this one is, okay, cited by one person. Oh, it's a non-published paper. Sorry, this is interesting. So they actually put it straight from what's there. So this is not published anywhere. So this is not a high quality paper. It was published this year and it's available at this particular location. But they're not, but this is not a high quality because it's neither in a conference or academic journal. But if it has useful information, you can cite it. So that's interesting. That was that. All right. So what I like though is that they have, and then you don't need extra pages. You should always end it. Oops. For me, it's me. I should have put this extra. So I make sure insert page break for the appendix, so there won't be any extra spaces. So to go back, they have the references. Now let's see what the project is all about. So they have, and then by the way, to be like really good, each of these sections, you can either use the styles, which I'm not going to teach you, or you can just do this. Make sure that this always goes with, here's line on page breaks, always goes with the next paragraph, because that's a hanging thing. Partner statement should go with this. It shouldn't be by itself, and the purpose should go with this, etc. Why am I teaching you things to do with word processing? So let's figure out what the problem is about. So I want to always read the problem statement first, then I go back, because we can read the background. The problem statement should be a summary of the background. They actually have 3 paragraphs. I read it before class, or glanced at it before class. I think the right word is perused. I perused the assignment before class and came to some assessment that they've made progress. So for everybody, you should know that each paragraph in your background and everything that you write should have typically has a topic sentence, that since it has 3 paragraphs, you read the 3 topic sentence and it should flow. That doesn't flow in this case. And each first sentence is not really a topic sentence. So the background has some challenges. But if it was perfect, I love for students to read the problem statement first. So let's do that here. There are many residents of Kingston who may be unaware of the various pollutions in the air that they breathe. I think we need to say Kingston, Jamaica, because this is not written just to Jamaicans. This could be a paper written to anybody. Anyway, according to these people, I don't know how to pronounce their names. And by the way, in AP, you don't put in the like this. So in writing, you don't put the middle names, you just put the surnames. When you're putting the reference at the end, you have everything. It's just the last names and if this was at the end, it would be different. We will see it later. So anyway, according to these 2 people who published in 2008, and then they have a quotation. And let's read it. Among people living in the Caribbean, an increase in respiratory disease such as asthma has been linked to exposure to air pollution resulting from natural events, especially human activities. This sentence is not a award-winning sentence. It's a very clear sentence, and as such, there is no excuse to not paraphrase it. Meaning, what this group should do is they should take this wonderful sentence and say it in their own words. So, and then, in fact, yeah. So that's all the only thing I have to say. Nice point. So people may not be aware this is a problem in the Caribbean, that respiratory disease is linked to air pollutants. Okay. And as a result, a study into the efficaciousness of IoT sensors in monitoring air pollution could help citizens. That as a problem, as an idea, something is missing. We haven't told anybody that IoT sensors could lead to discovering air pollution. So I'm now convinced that there's a problem. They tell us that people in the Caribbean have been thinking and people in Houston may not be aware. As a result, a study into the application of IoT sensors in monitoring air pollution could help citizens to become more energy conscious in carrying out activities that they do not have deemed detrimental and help them identify other degrading factors of air quality. So I actually like how this is written. Nothing wrong with this, but we need something here that's telling us that IoT sensors can detect air pollution. That's what's missing in the problem statement. But good first attempt. So their objective is to determine the effectiveness. By the way, efficaciousness and effectiveness are not the same thing. Does anybody, including these students, know the difference? Hello? Don't all speak at once. So you need to not use words interchangeably unless they're interchangeable. And moreover, in research projects, words that are very important, you need to use again and again. No? No response? So you can Google it. I don't know why people are not Googling. Why we have only 16 people here. All right. But efficaciousness is about whether a sensor will work in a research project context, and effectiveness, it basically works sort of in a real world context. It's actually more than that, but you can look it up. But these are not the same, and so you need to decide whether you're looking at if something is efficacious or if something is effective. All right, but so far it sounds like a good idea. They have research questions. Let's go back and look at the background. Let's just read that first. So they want to know how can IoT, same thing, you would need a significance to go with the next paragraph. And we actually really shouldn't have all this space unless it can't go otherwise. I'm thinking, why are these extra spaces after the paragraphs? So it's just double space without the extra spaces. Something wrong with your formatting. Anyway, so the research questions: how can IoT sensors be used to track the levels of air pollution and things like that? This is something.
Question, Sam.
Yeah.
APA, it should be double space, right?
But this is more than double space. Let me show you. But the paragraph is double space, but this is, you have not only double space, you have 10 point after. The 10 point is not there. Trust me, I'm the teacher who, trust me, I don't know, it's a natural thing. I just tend to notice.
It should be 0, yeah.
No, it should be 0. So I know without looking. And I used to be a technical writer for a living, so I used to use Microsoft Word for a living. Not because I was writing technical manuals for a living a long time ago. So
no, I know who to contact when I have problems with this.
No, you're paying me for the, you make it, you're paying the.
Yes, Sam. I'll definitely.
Okay. Oh, you mean the consultation fee? No problem. All right. I keep having people who, including your friend this morning, telling me when I was making some comment about money, saying why am I always complaining? I said, I'm not complaining. You have to look at what money costs. Things are very expensive anyway. Right. So what I was saying here is these order lists should be the whole thing actually. In fact, the whole thing is Control A. This is paragraph. Nothing here. It should all be after. This should be 0. All of this should be 0. And it's still double space. I know it's a double space. I know everything is. I don't know that's how you want to do this. So when I did that to your first section, back to, if you really wanted to have 2 things, it's probably a bit messed up your. It might have messed up your. I think the way you had it, this would have been a new page break thing. I need more space. So I've now messed up your paragraph thing. But we're not, we're just moving on from here. So the research questions: how can IoT sensors be used to track the levels of air pollution? Before we look at research questions though, let's look and see what their background is. So their background says, industries have grown at an exponential rate over the last quarter century. These industries have caused complex and curious environmental issues such as air pollution. Given the importance of air quality in human life, there's a growing demand for environmental pollution monitoring systems as a result of the ever-increasing sources of toxic chemical pollution, among others. Actually, I would say the writing is good. Congratulations. So, and they do this, right? So, here. Right, I think there's an extra space. Right, and this is actually right. So when you put the authors, if the authors are 3 or more, you put the first author plus et al. Means and authors. If it's only 2, you put the 2 first authors. So this is correct, guys. The only problem I have with this paragraph is not the writing. It's just, well, it actually is the writing. It's not the sentence writing. It's the how you write a paragraph. What is the main point that these people are making in this paragraph? Anybody? Are people hearing me?
That industries have grown over the last quarter century.
That's the main point? No, man. So
And because of that, there is an increase in the environmental pollution.
I I think the main point is that air pollution is a big problem because of industries.
Correct.
If you want to add that. And so I want a background sentence that whatever it could be my I'm trying to write for you that air pollution is becoming an increasing problem because of industrial growth or something or expansion. But this is not the topic sentence. And it's here why it's not the topic sentence. It's because it becomes confusing. If you only read the first few sentences, tell me if you understand what the project is about. Industries have grown at an exponential rate of the last quarter century, nothing about pollution. Then you have the goal of air quality monitoring. You're like, huh? But how this is connected? You can't see the connection. Is not just to collect data, but also to provide the information needed by stakeholders to make informed decisions about managing and improving the environment, as well as provide useful information to public and users. Okay, this shouldn't be a full stop here. The full stop should come at the end, but not a problem. And then the next paragraph is a wireless sensor network is a network of sensor nodes that communicate with one another. Those three alone has the people confused. Industry growing, air monitor does a bunch of things that informing stakeholders so you can make decisions. And then the key to them, because you're curious, here's what a network does. Like, huh? You need to work on your topic sentences. You guys see what I'm saying? Let me see who these are now. This is Tony and Odin and Christopher. Are you following where I'm saying that? Okay, good. So yeah, so the separate sentences are fair. It's about how they go together. Sure.
In the background, from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2,
yes.
You said in the first paragraph we should have a topic sentence. Each paragraph should have its own topic sentence.
Yes. So in our fancy things, in the best case, if you want to go with an A+ paper, there's supposed to be, if it's an A+ paper, a sentence connecting at the end, connecting to the next one. So like, for example, you actually connect. So this connects to this. So this last sentence connects. I don't know if it connects every time. That's why I said, when you read, I actually read it earlier really quickly. And I said, somebody, you have all the good points, but you just need to, the structure of the writing, you see, but the sentences are fine. So like this long sentence, which maybe need to break down to two she's from these people. So you tell us that it's basically that's the aim of air monitoring. It's not just data collection, it's based about decision making. And perhaps this should be brought down, I don't know. But then this provides an avenue for IoT. I go, huh? I don't know connection between this and this. It's not even about within the paragraph. I'm confused. Devices, I don't know. This what? Maybe you mean air monitoring colors? Because it was so long, the reader goes, huh. I'm the teacher who loves to read, and when somebody who loves to read and loves to read this kind of stuff goes, huh? Trust me, it's huh. Then devices and IoT are linked together to transmit data via the distributed sensor networks. You see, even this didn't tell us about IoT. So you have this sentence, don't tell us not about IoT, and then we don't see the link, then we don't see the link. I don't see the link. I'm not saying it's not a link, but it's not in writing. Then you tell us currently mobile apps can perform functions such as that. So I don't know what the point of this sentence is at all. I'm actually thinking it might be that air quality monitoring could be done with IoT, including mobile apps. I don't even know. I literally don't know what is the main point of this paragraph. Does anybody who wrote this know? Because I literally don't know.
We're going to fix it, Sam.
So you can think about it because you guys are on the way. You guys on your way to, it's just not there yet. And then now, let's just say, after confused with this, then we go like, so what is this now? So I get the idea that you're going to do monitoring with IoT, air quality monitoring, which is very important for decision making with IoT, and perhaps the mobile apps use IoT. You don't tell me, so I can't know what you don't tell me. I mean, really literally or not. Then get into wireless network, and I'm like, wait, did we mention that? I remember now, we don't know what is this connected to this. I have no idea. And then this is like no definitional. Yes, based on all of this, wireless network is a sensor. You tell us what it does, the cost, by incorporating more devices, it can adapt. And then, so after this is just like Here is introduction to wireless networks, as far as I can see. I don't know why this is related to this project at all. Then, based on a review of the scholarly articles, the implementation will be beneficial as it has already been used for air pollution. The implementation what? Maybe it's wireless sensor networks. I'm confused again. And then there's no citation. So another rule which they followed here is every paragraph must have at least one citation. So they had a citation here. They have 2 citations, second paragraph. This paragraph had no citation. Problematic. 1 second again. So when I look at this now, review of scholarly articles, you must have a citation. Yes, Odin, go ahead.
But I was trying to get that in the background. I was basically trying to say that the wireless sensor network kinds of enable the Internet of Things, IoT. So I see where we need to do some more.
You don't say that. There's nothing I say that. I can't. I'm good at going to school. Don't tell me that. I'm trying to follow. Yeah, and then what about this part? It's what I presume you mean the implementation of, is it wireless networks? Is wireless sensor networks a part of Internet of Things? I don't know. I'm not a network person. I'm not a security, but I can read what is written. It's something is missing. And then when you tell me the implementation will be beneficial of what? As has already been used. So when you go back up here, I was looking. The only thing you told me about how people use, you said that mobile apps can be used. And now you're telling me that implementation is of what? And it has been beneficial. So if it's been beneficial, why didn't you tell me that before? Like, why is there not a sentence saying, a reference to say it's beneficial? Because then you have 2 big ideas here now. It's beneficial, and then there's a problem with computational complexity when you have big sensor data. This almost sounds to me like 2 important ideas that should be 2 different sentences with citations. So let's look at what they have here. We said the problem statement was pretty good for those who came late. I'm sorry about that. So now we go to the resource question. Now here's what I get from everything I read to date, as in we didn't read it in the order. So when people have a good paper, you can read it in the order. The reason when I come to students and I read problem statement first is because often the background confuses me because it needs work. So we know what they want to do. They're telling us there's an air pollution problem. People can monitor air pollution in order to make good decisions. And apparently we can use IoT devices. Apparently, and when it gets here, including mobile apps, to do that. So that it can be beneficial to people, but there's a little problem which doesn't say what the problem is. But anyway, so we know that this is a project with some possibility. So they have 4 research questions, which you want to look at carefully. How can IoT sensors be used to track the levels of air pollution in Kingston? How can monitors indicate when it is safe to go outside due to air quality? So let's start with those 2. Does anybody know how IoT sensors can be used to track air pollution? Not in Kingston, air pollution. Does anybody in the world know how this can be done? Hello?
Would it be somewhat of a sensor?
Yes, Sam.
That says yes. So we already know. Sorry, there are IoT sensors being used to track air pollution. So in Kingston, that is not a research question. That is, for this class, I want to call it investigation. So research questions are answers to things that experts or scholars don't know the answer to. Maybe that you guys don't know how to track it, but this is not, you might be looking at this question in the literature review, but it's not a research question. So a research question gives you a long background on things that are relevant to your project. So I'm going to say this doesn't look like a research question to me based on what I just said. If anybody here not understanding, we'll talk about it later. We'll go back to it. How can the monitors indicate when it is unsafe to go outside due to, again, I don't know if so you want to see what I'm talking about. Again, that sounds similar to something that any expert would know. People who, you already told me up there that people are using it and even a comment that it's beneficial. So how can the dominant pollutant identify using IoT? Now, you know, seeing that you're getting to what could be a better research question, But how can that be identified? Is that really what you want to know? That's the question mark should be right here. Sounds to me that maybe what you want to know is it's not how can you figure out what's the most dominant pollutant? Why? Because people know how to do that, I think. I'm not sure. In fact, let me say it a different way. You see, all what you had up here, you didn't tell us that people, you didn't tell us anything about the dominant pollutants. So the concern I have already is, if that's a question, why didn't you tell us that IoT sensors could be used to list the dominant pollutants? But let's say it can be done, because there should be a link between what you put in the background and the problem statement and research question. And when I see here, it's maybe it is maybe it is this. I don't know, because I don't know enough in this area to say for sure. Maybe. I'm not even put. The thing about it, the reason I'm going to say that this is not a good thing is because how to do something when people already know how to do it is not a good research question. And if this was going to be a good research, so that question sounds more like what the engineer would do. We don't want to, we're not engineers trying to figure out how these devices work. We just need to use them to find out. So it's either maybe you want to figure out the most dominant pollutants, or I'm not even sure what you want to do. So
Yes, Sam, that's what we want to do, so that we
okay.
can.
Yeah, so
can
maybe this is it. So
identify-
I'm not trying to guess here. And then what are the mitigating strategies for what?
What can we do to, based on what we see as the dominant pollutants, what can we do to make the air quality better?
Oh, well, the thing about it, this sounds like what is usually put in recommendations. Let me explain a little bit. So here, I would suggest that this not be a research question. We can, you're going to have the whole semester to go back to what was for your project. But the reason I'm a little bit hesitant here is that unless you're going to collect data from various groups of people, and then it wouldn't be based on fairness. It would be something like what are the mitigating strategies for using IoT sensors to detect. No, maybe it's to reduce. I'm trying to think, what are you wanting to do? You want people to avoid the polluted areas?
Yeah, we want them to lessen the pollutants.
Wow.
Basically.
To lessen the pollutants, not just avoid the pollutants.
Avoid and listen, because if you realize that
that is, I hear you, very ambitious.
If it's due to a lot of burning,
yeah, man, I understand.
We're
using IoT sensors to, it basically is you wanting to some kind of behavior change. I don't know what kind of behavior change. So your behavior change is what? Reducing the amount of, it's really reducing pollutants. To reduce pollutants. I guess in your case it's Kingston, Jamaica. That's what you want to do.
Yes.
And your mitigation strategies is both. It's really just you want people to change. You also want them to avoid it, because you see when I'm back to something, I was a little bit. You said that in the somewhere even the problem statement you said people are unaware, and that asthma has been linked to it. You want to look at people becoming more environmentally uncaring. Oh, that has been deemed to detrimental. Okay, so you actually want to look at behavior changes, right? So for example, in this, you don't tell us anything here that anybody has done studies using IoT sensors or any other mobile device to lead to behavior change. So you see how what you have in the problem statement is not justified in the background. So let me help you with that, because Maybe this could be a good question, but this is really super ambitious. So this could either be the research question, or it could be you find some stuff and then you in the recommendation section. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, we're going with a 5-chapter model. Chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2 is review. Chapter 3, methods. Chapter 4, results and findings or analysis. Different names for chapter 4. Chapter 5 is conclusions and recommendations. In this course called research methods, you will be doing chapters 1 to 3. When you do major project, you do chapters 1 to 5. And so since part of chapter 5 has recommendations, this might be reserved just for the recommendations. But if this is a research question, you're going to need to collect data from real people to figure out this. But back to, if this is what you want to do, let me take a break. No, let's look at the significance first. So for those who don't know, significance are of 2 types. There's theoretical and practical significance. As the name suggests, theoretical significance means that you add knowledge to the word, theory, and practical significance obviously means something that will help the world in some way, not just yourself. So they say the study will offer information on the efficacious of using monitor air quality. Residents of Kingston can aid for the residents. Why this sounds grand? So many respiratory conditions by tracking and taking steps to limit the pollution emitted by them and their belongings. The municipality of Kingston could use incentives to encourage the use of IoT sensors, which may lead to cleaner air and the overall betterment of Kingston population. The thing I mean, really sounds really nice. 2 problems with it. It's really the same. One problem with it is that none of these 2 questions that we have left really tells us, but maybe it's this one. It's not clear that your study is going to be getting the citizens. Well, if this means that you're going to get the citizens to change your behavior, I don't know. But it's not clear to me that it's on this links. Maybe it will link. But the other thing, to just be practical, is that it's unlikely that a study will lead to these grand changes, but at least you have a goal. So I'll leave it at that. The study will focus on obtaining data from factory those living in dense impact. Okay, so I guess you could have called the study in Jamaica. Is what you call the study? Yeah. I probably with this would put modern air pollution in Jamaica. I wouldn't put the parish of Kingston. For example, nobody knows, so I no fear. And then you delimit it to Kingston, or you could delimit it to even probably past Kingston, as you said.
Can you say that again, please? I'm not following
said,
that last part.
I'm suggesting that the title could be in Jamaica, and then you could delimit to Kingston or to the densely packed areas of Kingston. Because people don't tend to put this city in a title. And you know, there's Kingston across the world. There's Jamaica and New York. So people for things tend to put countries. People don't. If you look at research articles, they tend to put countries or nothing at all. So you could just call it. It could just be for the short title. Internet of Things sensors to aid in monitoring air pollution. Running head should be as short as possible. You don't need to put utilization. In fact, I don't even know if you're going to utilize it in your project. So you just need it to be short. So let's go back to, let's see what the method is. So method has 3 sections. 1 section is missing. You need to have the participants. No, in fact, there's 2 sections missing. The 3 sections are, put it after here for everybody. This is on YouTube. So the sections are the design. Let's not put it in bold. I'm just saying this for teaching. There's design. There is population sampling, and there is sampling technique. It actually could vary for other kinds of project, but we're thinking for the typical project for this class. So what you don't have is the design. What we actually have is a population. Oh, sorry, I put it wrong. Population and sample. So if you see, they tell us that it's President of Kingston, chosen at random. Oh, yes, they will have a sampling technique from 3 parishes in 3 areas in a parish. By the way, this actually, well, this is a short, it doesn't need to be there. In the method chapter, you have to say exactly where. And the gender will not be taken into consideration. I don't know why you put that in the short thing. It's adults. So, okay, so basically it's adults. Participants will be invited to complete questionnaires. Oh, yeah, that typically that's true. Like, yeah, do it this way actually. Here, I'm just doing things to my head. Yeah. So they have the instruments. They said, I'm not sure where they want to do both questionnaires and an interview, but these are what is called the instruments. As in, they're going to collect data from these participants. Apparently, they're going to do two things, both questionnaires and interviews. And so their population are Kingston adult residents, and they're going to look at apparently 3 crowded areas. There's much there, but there's no crowd down here. So to me, it should be consistent. If you want it crowded only, you should put it back in the method. Maybe because they think crowded areas are likely to be more polluted. I don't know. I'm actually not sure what the rationale for that delimitation here. So things should make sense, and I don't know. Can you tell me why crowded areas? Hello? You guys still here? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm asking why crowded areas.
Yeah, why up here is crowded? I don't know why it's densely packed.
Because we think like that would give a more accurate reading of.
But crowded don't mean that'd be great for COVID-19. Crowded don't mean it's polluted. Wouldn't it make more sense if you're going to choose only some places? Why don't you choose places that have a lot of pollution? I don't know. I'm back to I don't know. I have no opinion, but I don't know why densely packed. Is it that in general densely packed places have more pollution? Is it that, or is it that people who are densely packed areas tend to affect others with their pollution activities? I'm trying to understand.
Yes, Miss, that could be a point as well.
But if that's the point, you should tell us that. And I'm just saying, it's not obvious to me. No, but if you mean inner city, you should say they actually fancy words for inner city, but for the inside inner city, I'm still. You see, I'm actually thinking that probably you may be wanting to look at people with low socioeconomic status. It's a fancy name for people who are poor and in a low class. Maybe you want to look at maybe only the ones who are in inner cities. I don't know, because it could be. And we might hear background about some people don't know, but even people who have public education sometimes not concerned about pollutants. I'm not sure why you're limiting to only people in crowded areas. You know why I say that? Because I'm not an expert, but I think that the people who are not living in crowded areas are probably the ones who are more likely to use the Internet of Things sensors. And so when you limit the project to only places where people are less likely, then what you don't have any data about the people who are willing to use it or more willing. You get my logic? So I could see that one of your questions could be you might want to see if there's a difference in the interest in Internet of Things sensors to monitor air pollution between different groups. That's one of the things I think probably could be in there. So I did not see anything like that. So out of interest, but I'm just thinking either receptivity or is another term, technology acceptance, one of those two terms. It wouldn't be both of Jamaican adults in using IoT sensors to monitor. Let's think about it again. Let's just copy and paste. Pollutants in the atmosphere. Why I want to ask this? Because at the end of it, I was wondering what you want to do with this. I don't know, but I think that this is more measurable. I think this is really grand, and I love your thinking. But at the end of it, single research projects are unlikely to do this wonderful plan. So that's what you normally do at the end. You have a recommendations section based on the data you collect. You talk about the mitigation strategies, and I would say that I would probably recommend that this be part of the significance that when you finish doing the study, the researchers and other people will be able to suggest some mitigating strategies based on your study. Are you guys following me?
Yes, following.
Yeah. And then, right. And then there's some challenge as to whether you should use the word receptive or technology acceptance. I could come back to that. But then we know we have a real project. As in, we definitely have a real project if we want to find this out. But then these two research questions are very different. This one is about whether people are willing to use it. And this one is about what are the dominant pollutants. And you could be doing both in the project, I don't know. But whatever you're doing, the whole thing needs to flow. And whatever the problem statement is, it needs to flow with the research question. Because you see what this says? The object is to determine the effectiveness of monitoring data quality. What your significance is, you're going to change people's behavior. So this is not the effectiveness of sensors, is not what it is. It could be as the sensors could be perfect. That don't mean that one person changing their behavior. Not true. Or then?
True.
Right. So I'm saying right now, even though you have some well-written sentences, some are like a B sentence and some are A sentence. You have a number of well-written sentences, but the product is not cohesive or coherent. They don't mean the same thing. God, that's some good ideas, but you guys seeing what I'm saying? And so
Yes,
here,
please.
the last thing I was saying now is for the methods, you don't have a design. So I have a lecture yesterday on design. So for example, will this design be cross-sectional or longitudinal? Assuming that you remember what you heard last night, if you came to the lecture. If you didn't come to the lecture, you can Google it. There's 3 people in this group. Are you planning for the project to be cross-sectional or longitudinal? Don't all speak at once.
Well, in our research topic, we put cross-sectional.
Okay, right. So that's what should be there. So you're going to do a cross-sectional study or whatever to look. So that should be there. That's actually the design. You know, apparently, yeah. And your population you have. So you need to put Jamaica because trust me, it's Google for 2 seconds. If you guys don't believe me, it's actually amazing. Everywhere I go, I realize that so much places in Jamaica name Kingston. So let's see how much more Kingstons there are. No, I'm trying to look for other Kingston. This is our Kingston. Globally. Interesting, because almost everywhere I know there's more than one. Wow, I don't know. So there's a Kingston Global Reunions. I wonder if it's Kingsonians across the world or it's something else. Sorry, this almost everywhere I go, I see that there is places. Let me see what this is. Sorry, here am I trying to prove to you that there's more than one Kingston. Oh, this is Kingston. It's global in London. Oh, there's a Kingston University. My only point is almost everywhere that you know very familiarly. These are actually all Jamaica. But the problem is that Google searches actually come related to where you are located. So since they know I'm located in Kingston, Jamaica, they're showing me Kingston. I'm beginning to wonder if there's no. I'm beginning to wonder if there's nothing else above on Kingston, Jamaica. It's the same in Kingston. I'm beginning. Apart from Kingston, what was it? University. Kingston Hospital. Is there Kingston Ferry? Oh, these are not. There's a Kingston University, a Kingston Hospital, Kingston Ferry. Where is that? That probably is. We do have a ferry in Kingston. So this is the same thing. How many beds? Kingston Hospital. Where is this? Oh, so in the UK, there's a Kingston Hospital. You know why we have so many names? Because a lot of things is from the UK, and UK, somebody in the UK named us. And so there's probably a town or a city in Kingston. Kingdom. It's on United Kingdom. Kingston upon the Thames. It's a metro in London. Like I said, I didn't have to even be sure. Anyway, so let me start giving you general education back to where we were. So we were at you need a design, which is a cross-sectional thing. Your population is Jamaican adults, and you don't say how many people will be in your sample. You actually do say that the sampling technique is random. I'm just curious, it's not part of this assignment. How you plan to get that random selection? I mean, we're early at this point, but
We can do WhatsApp groups, Miss. Is that possible?
if what?
Can we do WhatsApp groups like to get some of the samples?
You could do many things, but that wouldn't be random. So anybody here knows the difference between random and well, there's basically two types of sampling we haven't talked about in lecture yet. There's probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So the two most common sampling techniques in research projects, as far as I know, especially in the social sciences, are random sampling and convenient sampling. So convenient sampling is when you find anybody who's willing to do something and they take part in your research study. You say you're going to do it random. Random means that there's an equal chance of everybody who is in that population being chosen. So since I say you're going to choose them at random, not conveniently, I'm asking you, what's your plan for random? Anybody in class know any way? Sorry, let me help you out. To get a random selection, you need a list of people in Kingston. Anybody know where that list will come from? Or could come from with permission? Actually, there's one way. What's that?
Like a telecommunication company.
Yeah, but it's very unlikely that they're going to give you a list. And by the way, that's going to exclude some people. Where else can you get a list of people in Kingston?
What's starting though? I don't know.
Huh?
Is it starting?
Yeah, but then I won't give you. So yeah, there's a lot of, I hear your choices. So yes, Statin would have a list because they're the census. But where's the public list? So Statin is probably the best answer.
Yellow pages.
That's not how to everybody. You don't want to know where the public list is. The public list is actually the election list. So I know election list is not everybody, but most of those others. Statin would be the best if they would give you a list. But the problem is that the census was done with a known thing that is private. So technically this is the best list, but they're not going to give you. So at the moment, if you want to do this in Jamaica, it's the election list, which is a public list. So I was just saying, I'm not sure you really want to do that. That's what you want to do in this project. Somehow I doubt it. So I'm just saying.
Maybe we need to make it a convenient sampling.
I think so. That's what I'm saying. I'm teaching from example. A lot of people put random when they mean convenience. There are other kinds, and in about 2 weeks we're going to look at what. And right now this is a draft. So the method is because some people come up with a project that is not feasible. If they don't have a tentative method, they will realize that what they were thinking of doing can't work. So what you're doing is look at your research questions now. You are possibly going to, if you want to figure out what are the most dominant pollutants, then why are you asking people? So you didn't have any question, and then if you wanted this question, I'll tell them to get strategies. I'm wondering, I was just wondering what the method here is going to be. You're going to interview them, because if it was just questionnaires, that's not going to give you the mitigating strategies. So I'm wondering what would be the nature of the interviews? Have other people done those kind of things in the past? I'm not sure how you're going to get these mitigating strategies from doing an interview from people in crowded parts of Kingston. So something here still doesn't add up completely to me.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
Can we use the IoT sensors along with responses given from persons to find out what are the dominant pollutants and what activities they do to contribute
or something? All that could be possible, so I can have a big project, but since you're planning to use IoT sensors, that's part of the methods. The point is, whatever the plan is, and we can then decide if the project is too big. We didn't put all the methods in the project. I'm just saying, let's go back to this. You actually had You didn't say even how. You said what? I took it out, but this makes more sense to me. So I put what? When it was how can or what? Part of your methods is you're going to use IoT sensor, whether it's in the real world, just at UTech or somewhere. So yeah, your methods are incomplete. As a first attempt, I would say this is a good first attempt. By the way, they have an appendix that's what's required in my class. And for every project from my class, once a group assignment for method. Guys, as it is right now, this might be, I don't know what grade it would be. It's not a good grade because it's not cohesive, but as a first attempt, good, because I know that after all this feedback, they won't have any problem working it out. Yes. Hopefully everybody learned from that sharing of that project. So we know we still only have a little bit more people, 18 people here. Just reminding everybody to join with a photo. I have 3 tutorials in 3 different classes. Yes. Oops, I did not do that. Everyone in a meeting. All right, please join with a photo next class. If you can't find yourself a photo, you can join your phone or on your laptop or any other device. I don't care. You need to find a photo to join my class. This is not a complex thing. All right. So just reminding everybody, let's go again. So for those who weren't here early, I'm Suzanne Muir. I work at UTech full-time in the School of Computing and IT. I actually love research, and it's very painful when all of you, many students go, why do I have to do this class? Don't worry, you don't have to do it. You are free to not finish your degree, but this is a glorious opportunity to do a project that will teach you how to do research, that you can apply those same skills and other things in the rest of your life. In terms of what you're supposed to be doing, there are a number of assignments. I can show the course outline, which maybe that would be good at this point. And the first assignment is either individual or group. You write a concept paper. I just went through one a while ago as a real student. 3 students just did that, and I gave them some feedback. And I told them it was a good first attempt, but I think they know what some of the things to fix. So should I show the course outline at this time, guys, or what? Will that be helpful?
Yes, miss. Yes,
Yes. And then I'm very particular. I would like to be called Sam or Prof or Teach or Ms. Muir. Can you imagine? And I'm good with no specific. Let me share a screen again. Let me just make sure I have the thing open. You can just say hi. You know, you can just ask a question. You don't have to use that type. So let me see where this thing is. You know, I think the easiest thing to do. I'll just go ahead and share a screen, so you guys don't have to be bored. I know where I can find it for sure. So yeah, here was I looking for things done. I'm laughing at myself. Okay, so let's go to Google. Google, right? And so we're looking for, what are we looking for again? I'm now forgetting. What if I'm having short-term memory problems? Oh, I know, we're trying to look for the course all that. So you check. It's not right. Check. It's really not. It's just okay. E-learning. Oh, they changed how it looks. Interesting. What's a fancy thing? I didn't know they changed it so much. Change how they look. That's I didn't even know. So just reminding everybody who is here, if you are here, UTech has advised us formally that students should only be allowed. Is this thing not working? I was trying to open UTech online and it's not working. Not good. Wow, I guess I'm here is logging in. I was going to say I could get it somewhere else. So the only people who can log in are those who are registered. Or maybe this thing is down. 1 second. Excuse me, I'm having a class. Hello? I'm having a class. I guess that's, let me try this another way. Let's see, computing research methods, that's clearly going to be, it's just I don't want it. Computing research method. Oh, it's finally coming up. Let me just open it from here, but it's clearly, this is taking too long, and it must be here somewhere. But I don't have this organized so I can find things quickly. It must be recent. Okay, this must be it here. I was taking so long. I'll just go to this. Yeah. Right. So just to show everybody, maybe I should put this in under assignment. So on the Moodle side, the concept paper, which said week 3, because I wanted the boy to start the draft, you already, which is you're going to do an assignment on a computing topic, like we had an example there, using any computing area. And it can be something that is like the business and computing, no problem. And you need to tell what each person did. And it's not supposed to be more than 3 pages. That's excluding the cover page and the reference page. And this is what we just show the example. And there's a breakdown of the assignments. Yeah, and I think I took out abstract because the abstract was in the last assignment. So here we go. This is it. We're supposed to be right now, you're supposed to come to me, have done the concept note, and then the literature review summary table is the next thing. I think I'm going to probably put this down to here based on what is happening. So UTech has actually informed us that because some people are still registering, we should defer assignments. Everybody who's in the class already needs to give an assignment, because trust me, you see all these things are coming, it's going to be a lot of work. So anybody who's here needs to be given in so you can get feedback. Right. So these are the assignments. Hold on, there's a concept note, that's 10%. Right, let's go back to the assignment. So let's look at this. Let's look at the percentages. The concept note, which is here, is 10%. If you do a bad job, you're allowed to revise to get a new grade. The practical assignment is supposed to be a lab. So the 2 hours we have, half should be for lab and half should be tutorial. There is a 20% for 2 different assignments. The theory test in week 13 of the semester, which is a coursework only course, is 25%. Literature review summary table, which is the next assignment. I'm probably going to postpone this to week 6 based on this people registering late. And the lit review, which is related to the lit review summary table. So let's just explain. The concept note is related to the lit review summary table, which is related to the lit review, which is related to our bridge report. So those 4 are related to each other. There's like basically one project, all related. So once you figure out a good concept note, you're going to then, which is like becomes chapter 1, then you're going to come up with a lit reviews table, which will help to inform writing your literature review, and that you have a method, so you write a ethics application or report. Somebody had a comment or a question. Hello?
This oral assessment.
The word assessment means things that a tutor looks at work by students and gives it a grade, or it don't have to be a grade, evaluates the quality of the work. You never heard it before?
No, guys say oral, so you just say look at. So I was wondering.
I said look at what?
Look at the work that students submit.
Yeah, man, I personally hate grading, but apparently I am required to submit not numeric grades for each assessment, which I will do.
Okay, so it's not really an oral presentation.
What is oral? Oh, you mean down here? You mean this the practical assignment?
Yes.
Well, 2 things. I actually require 2 orals. So here, everybody in my class must present the literature review both in writing and orally as part of this grading. And similarly, unless I say otherwise, the practical assignment, there should be an oral presentation as well. So the oral presentation, the teacher can decide they don't want oral, but this is 20% and this one is 20%.
Okay.
So every teacher can decide if oral is a way that they want to help with the assessment.
Okay.
Does that clarify?
Yes, I didn't see the presentation. But I
Right,
just-
So what I'm going to tell everybody right now, but this definitely, I'm going to want an oral presentation. Yeah, I haven't been doing oral presentation for a bridge ethics report, so just people can submit it. Right, so this actually says here, because we would love to ask this question, if you can do the same topic for major project. I just supervised a group that turned their CRN topic into major project and they passed. So it certainly can be done. It's for some reason it's not that common. Actually, what tutors and students keep saying they want to do that, and guys, it could be done. But two things is one is obviously it needs to be a project worth doing, and then the other thing is you're not supposed to have a project with the 5 of you and only 2 of you carrying forward. If you do that, no problem. But it means that the literature review that you did, you need to make sure the new literature review is written by the people in the class. In your, let me go again. Let's say you have a project with 5 people and only 2 of you want to carry it forward to major project, and the major project coordinator and somebody says, yes, this could be a project. There's the 2 of you. Well, you had a literature review which was done by 5 people. The parts that was not done by the people who have dropped that topic, that part needs to be not in your project because that's called plagiarism. So you could keep the project, but the parts that was done by other people not in your new project would need to be rewritten. That makes sense?
Yes.
At least it makes sense to one person. It makes sense to everybody else. So there are some recommended textbooks. And this is the current plan. So let me stop share. So I'm back to questions, guys. So I'm now looking. Oh, here's the draft concept note. Oh, so the other thing. Please, when you send an email, I probably could have said this. Please copy to all group members. So guys, when you send anything to me, let me just share what I'm actually doing right now because yeah, I want to show this because in fact I think you should do this for all classes. So you're seeing my screen. See, Tonya Gardner shared the both a Word and a PDF document, and we just looked at it, and I'm just acknowledging because it's been noted. We noted this better. Whatever. And I'm saying, please copy. So for those who don't know, copy means you can either put it in the to or the VCC. So like I could decide to VCC myself. I have lots of different emails. Let's say I wanted to VCC that. I'm VCCing my email, or I could CC, but don't VCC. You want to CC or put in the to. So CC means carbon copy, and it's an electronic reference to what happened in the real world. When you want to make physical copies, you put a carbon and a thing copy. When you send an email, everybody in your group needs to know it really sent. I didn't want to hear from Ade that he hear from Tony and he send, but he just needs to believe or no. If he was copied either in the to or the CC with his email, he would have proof. That's why you want to do for every lecture, not just during COVID, but the rest of your life. Any project you're doing, everybody who's in the team that's important should be copied. Right? Everybody get me? I hope.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Understood.
That's so wonderful. So Senny. So I got another one. Someone look at this. Hopefully. Got another one. So I'm going to wait. I probably could have done the lit review. I could either go to some lab exercise or I could do the lit review summary table. But I think I'm actually going to end up doing some of it in lecture as well. But I'm going to wait because I think where the class is, we have not made enough progress. So we have another project here, smart farming and digital literacy. Interesting. I've done projects relating to this in the past long time, even major projects. Not sure if it's this. Oh, by the way, guys, usually I don't, abstract, I would say onto it. Let's see what they have. So like I was saying before, wow, this is a long thing. How much pages? It didn't see my recommendation, about 3 to 4 pages. Price is so long.
No,
So the-
Sam.
What, hold on, the first thing to remember, back to my viewing, the first thing, oh, it was in whole. The first thing is, remember, not all of these, it's just page. Oh, so you actually have page break, but too many spaces. No, it's all on the same page. Oh, y'all know page break. Yeah, so back to this. Let's just glance at the references. Oh, this have the big long. I don't know if the new APA, but see another one here. You didn't press enter right there. There, that one was a mistake. Little simple thing. I don't know if it's so much. Anyway, but fine, they have a journal, another journal, BAFNA. So you have some mistakes. See there? You need to go. Guys, remember it's a group project and you have some mistakes. So that this one should be like this. You need to fix up your
Okay.
mistakes.
Yeah, I believe those kind of I did it on Google Docs, so I guess
Guys?
it yeah.
Guys, I don't care what you did. The teacher don't care. It's a group project. Somebody else must look, whatever, don't care. Sort the things out. We don't care. This Google Docs thing, you know, I personally don't rate Google Docs. So we said to Google Docs, I'm like, whatever. Project. But yeah, I see you have good references. They're recent. Yeah, this is like a proper reference. This is a textbook, which is a press. They have, what is this, sustainability? Also another one here. Oh, it's more of the same. Yeah, man, but Google Docs is long enough, so you could have done this long time. And this is an IEEE conference. This needs to be a space. Let me see now. This one again, not the right thing, but so this one have a lot of conferences. This one seems, oh, this is the journal. So at a glance, it looks like they have some good references. So that's a good thing. They haven't put the task yet, but all right. So let's go to what they're doing. So this is the one that is across two different people, or the other people have now left from this project. Jaden, this is the
Yeah.
one that's across 2 different
Right.
tutorials.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
How that went to work. So
Yeah.
seems as if they have done a lot of work. Let me see what the problem statement is. Remember, the problem statements are order. This is not a new paragraph. It's all the problem statement is the same paragraph. It's not a new paragraph. And you guys have the same thing where I don't know why you have this thing where it is all this should be 0. Whatever the rest of it is, it's not spaces before and after. It's just double space. So it's no double space. But let's back to, I want to look and see what the problem statement is. Climate change is affecting agricultural output in Jamaica. And we have sought. Can be we. You have sorted that? To employ SF solutions. I guess SF is somewhere before. I'm in the class.
Top.
One second, guys.
Use the class size for foundation of the information system, so the next student can come on. So for spread. So I normally don't increase it unless I talk to the lecturer. Okay. As a young Anna can be teaching it. Right. So we have 11 students who come on to spread across the tutorials. So that's okay with you?
Well, I guess what we're going to do, we're going to figure that out beforehand.
Exactly.
All right. I guess if you just put in an email formally to me, I don't see any problem. It's actually just more work. But yeah, sorry, that was a muted myself. I think I saw muted. You guys are still there? Hello?
Yes, Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me go back to this. Trying to figure out. Yeah. So I was just looking out for what is SF.
It was in the abstract, which is going to be deleted, so I'll have to.
Yeah, so sorry. If you have it in the abstract, it would have to be in the background. So the abstract is not where you put down the thing, it will be right here, smart farming.
Okay.
Smart farming SF, and then SF, you didn't have it there. So by the way, the rule is when you use an abbreviation, it should be right as soon as it's used in the background. But let's go. I'm just trying to go at what in the world is that? I was in problem statement, just to make it easy. You should just spell it out, because it's only 2 words. Anyway, it's affecting agriculture. We have sought, this can be right. I don't know who has, maybe it's, I don't know who, is it governments or private sector companies? It's not we. Maybe it's you writing this. You have sought smart farming solutions to combat it?
No, Sam.
Exactly. So, I don't know what that is, but all right. In Jamaica. Oh, interesting. Anyway, I'm just trying to take all the first part of the sentence in. Wow. Hold on. I'm just trying to take it all in. Since there's some evidence that digital and international, along with digital is an issue affecting rural businesses. Oh, hold on. It is in this context. What a long conversation. So, okay. So literacy, digital literacy and digital divide is an issue affecting rural businesses. The study is constructed. No. This is a second sentence. It's not, this sentence is too long. Maybe back to 100 years ago or 200 years ago, people would have said that sentence. Too long to understand. So there is some evidence that digital is an issue affecting rural business, full stop. But this is a full stop, not a sentence. If it's true. So I'm going to assume it's true. It's already complex already. So we're talking about digital literacy and digital divide. All right. So could put this in this concept is true. It's constructed to understand the current format, deduce the current experience. By the way, this is what is called the purpose. This is purpose. So smart farming. I don't get where so this is use the constraints with skills with smart farming. I'm trying to get. So you're telling me that climate change is affecting agricultural output, and this is maybe that smart solutions need to improve agricultural output. I don't know. I don't know what the second part of the sentence is trying to say. Forget about the we part. Has it actually combated it, or it has been tried? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I literally don't know what it's saying.
Okay, I
you know either.
Yeah. No. It's
there is some evidence that literacy. Okay, I believe this because I know about what all of these words, and then I'm trying to figure out this is actually the same as the purpose, is the same as the aim. So this is the aim.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand what I want to know what they remember. Here's my thing. I want a computing something. Now I think that's a smart farming solution. Where's a sentence that tells me that there's a connection between smart farming? I don't know if you're going to say like, here's what I'm only guessing now. It could be that what you're trying to say is there's an opportunity for Jamaican farmers to use smart farming to improve agricultural output given climate change problems. Is that
yes?
Is that so they need to say that.
Okay.
Because this is the purpose of the study. So understand the study is to understand current farming activity, the use of this is all about. This is your research questions put in sentence form. This is important, but it's not part of the problem sentence. Problem statement, in my opinion. By the way, let me back up. This guys, in case you guys are really sharp, if you look at some research projects, this will be okay in the problem statement. I'm teaching everyone using the exact same way. So they're different in different disciplines, and maybe even some journals are different ways to do it. So and let's get to how I'm teaching in this class. So everybody learn the same thing, and you're preparing for a major project, and we're all taking the same thing in skip. So it could be a discipline or a journal that don't want it in that way exactly. This is the only way. The way we're saying is you write a background, that's actually typical. So like if this is a project in health, it actually the order is a little bit different. So they have like the motivation, which is like the problem statement first, but we're teaching a particular way, which is a background first and then a problem statement. And they call it the same idea, something different. So then your purpose is to examine the current knowledge of smart farming knowledge and among farmers. Oh, so I'm guessing here to aid in the design of learning. This seems rather big and grand. What are the current farming practices? do you mean, is this particular smart farming?
Um,
All farming?
all farming in general. Like, what are the common farming practices that
This alone
that
is
they
a
do?
massive project, you know. Anyway, what is,
Eh,
I'm not joking. So I know this is project seeing weight, the scope is what they call scope too big.
that's why I didn't choose to do all of Jamaica and just chose to do a
This is
specific.
already big. What is the level of digital literacy? I mean, even though this is only theoretical because the class that is just writing proposal, the
Right.
proposal still must be reasonable, as in
Mhm.
possible,
Mhm.
meaning without spending tons of money or time. What is the
Mhm.
level of digital literacy among Clarendon farmers? Is there a relationship between socioeconomic factors and the level of digital literacy among farmers? What's the level? Oh, it's around another percent there. Everyday farming activities. I see. Well, yeah. Methods. It's a large concentration of farmers based on the most recent data. Didn't know that. Currently, Clarendon have the most COVID-19 according to the senior medical officer of health, by the way. The parish has also been the site of a pilot program of CSA. What's that again?
I'll have to
I
put
don't know.
that
Anyway,
out. Yeah.
maybe I put it somewhere before.
Alright.
Is this? Hold on, hold. The person of the proportional distribution across the parish. Then giving some structure survey. So what is not here, and you can tell me something with analysis. You need to put something about whether the study design. So you're going to need you have to have something related to the design, like cross-sectional versus longitudinal. Things like that is not there. So that's a beginning. But if I go back now, my little thing here is that I am wondering. Yeah, I understand this. The local bodies can pinpoint. So it's people like RADA. So local, you can put in RADA. Local actual bodies like the rural, what it is called RADA, and maybe the Ministry of, what is it? I don't know which ministry, but that would benefit from smart technologies, and then can be used in designing programs, exposed to new farming technology. Oh, by the way, you actually have here just theoretical, practical significance. So this strategic planning for the local agriculture, that's actually practical, and this is also practical. You don't have anything theoretical, but we could basically say that there will be some increased knowledge about the I don't know, the practices and interest in smart farming among Jamaican farmers, something. But you don't have anything right now about that. I guess this could be a solution. Let's go back quickly and see what they have. What a long thing. So they have crop production is affected by disparities such as low rainfall, drought, increased pests, and inadequate irrigation, which has resulted in a massive impact on agriculture, output, and farm livelihoods in Jamaica. Interesting. So smart farming is a phenomenon where several stages of agricultural operations in the crop production cycle are integrated with technologies such as AI, cloud computing, machine learning, and the Internet of Things. AI-enabled irrigation has been proven to reduce much less water than traditional methods. Smart farming is also estimated to increase food growth and feed more people by 2025. So through these kind of smart farming implementations, although they have been in developed countries, it's a new concept for developing nations. A 4-year-old article, I wonder if that's still true. There have been several research papers. Hold on. Why you don't have the, is this a new, yeah, it is a new, we can't say, I don't know even what the APA is, but forget about APA, I don't have it memorized. You have to know what a new paragraph is. I can't tell what's a new paragraph. You need to fix that. Look up APA. I don't have it memorized. Can you imagine? So let's go back to this. This is not your first sentence. This is not a topic sentence. what you're actually telling me, let's just make it so everybody can understand. What you seem to be telling me is that smart farming implementations have the potential to maybe what you're really trying to say is that smart farming implementations have been utilized in developed countries, utilized effectively in developed countries or something. Because I'm trying to think, even this part about the new concept of developing nations, maybe that's where you're going to trend. I'm not sure, but this sentence is not the major point of the article. It's not a major point of the paragraph is not that crop production is down. The major point, unless you're going to have a whole paragraph on that, which you could, this whole thing, the major point is that smart farming can improve crop production. Am I
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So you need to put that as our topic sentence.
Okay, and the second paragraph should start with the whole major the sentence before the one where he indented.
Oh, really?
Right.
I don't know because I haven't read it.
Right.
There have been several research papers proposing that, and so you want to say, but the other thing though, if that is it, no, that's not what this paragraph is about. This is still a transition sentence, but it's not about this. You're actually talking here, because sorry guys, I'm not trying to read, I read fast. So I know what that sentence is about. Right now it's about smart farming could be used in Jamaica.
Right.
So this is not about Jamaica. If you want to put about there's opportunity to use smart farming, that's what this is about. But it says there are local papers and it's been implemented in that, and this is going to require digital literacy. Maybe you need a citation, maybe not. But all of this is about Jamaica. It's not about that thing. It's not. And by the way, this is a good flow. This is actually a good transition sentence based on what you have here, in my opinion. If you like my opinion.
Okay.
Then, and sentence and new paragraphs don't start with whoever.
But so no, I'm saying so even though it's a good transition sentence, it shouldn't be the first thing in the. I'm trying to understand how to like the topic sentence should be the first thing in the second paragraph, right? But it should still transition. So you're saying
listen to me again. The first sentence of a paragraph typically should be the main point in the paragraph, and everything else is like explanations and examples. Right. And then if possible, you try to have a transition sentence at the end that links this to the next paragraph. Okay. I'm saying right now this links to this paragraph, which is really about smart farming could be used in Jamaica or has been used. Whatever it is really about, I don't know. Look at your sentence. But this is about smart farming in Jamaica. And since this is about this transition sentence, we've been using developing countries, but not in developing nations. And so we're not surprised. We already know Jamaica is a developing nation. And so when you start to talk about Jamaica, you go, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Okay. And then when you get to this now, I go like, huh? So I don't even know what this is about. There's some evidence like that. Yeah, so. And then here you tell something about digital literacy. And then you confuse me right here. So the advantage of just don't seem to link with this. Like this sentence seems to link with this, maybe. I don't even know which technologies. I'm already confused. These technologies, I want to know what. So I'm like, all right, this, I'm kind of confused which technologies. Which technologies? Not sure what this means. And then this sentence seems out of place. Okay. I don't know what. I thought so too. Yeah, and I think I don't know how it fits. And for then this now fits. You want to talk about digital literacy. So maybe you want to say digital literacy is a factor in the adoption of IT. And by the way, if you go back to your research questions, I think, you haven't gotten this yet. No, it's other group. So let me come back. I can't go there yet. So you have this. So I don't think it's however. There has been some evidence. And maybe that's what you want to say. I don't know. It's a fact that the quality of that has been proven to be dependent. By the way, I'm very concerned about you guys keep using the word proven. Is it proven? Based on the references, yes, it was
Yes, based on a reference.
So here's my caution to you guys. There's something called weak evidence, moderate evidence, strong evidence. For something to be proven, there has to be exceedingly strong evidence.
Okay.
So are you sure? But maybe it is that easy to say that. I just wonder about the proven part. Because you can say things like there's strong evidence or research suggests, but maybe it's proven, I don't know. Anyway, this says that okay, that agricultural output is dependent on effective control knowledge. That sounds plausible. Maybe it is proven. This opens the concerns whether are viable for rural farmers. Because they don't know how they want to use it yet. I see teachers have voiced their concern all the way back from 2002. Despite this, there's very little research on that. Okay, so this is called identifying the research gap. So incidentally, the government is undergoing a national broad effort. What I got to do with what happened before? Remember you all talking about literacy? You don't mention anything about like you need a linking sentence, something about in addition to problems with knowledge of digital farming, there are also challenges with internet access. Then you've now linked it to this. You didn't link it at all. And then I wouldn't put incidentally, nothing on a sentence, but it sounds like you're writing a journal article. I don't know why this is not incidental. This is very important. How is this incidental? Don't we, in the middle of COVID, want farmers to be self-supporting and Jamaica to be self-supporting in case the whole world collapses?
Yes.
So what we're done with incidentally? Sorry, who here don't want broadband for the whole country? This is no, sorry. What is this? Goodness gracious! This is not incidental. It's actually good that they were doing that even before COVID. Sorry, we can't happy with the incidental.
Okay.
Incidentally, you're going to learn soon. That's an incidental. And hopefully, who's laughing?
Jaden.
Yeah, and hopefully you're taking us out to lunch when COVID is back to normal. How about that, Jaden? Sorry, making joke anyway. So you know, can't be real class and taking us to lunch. So, but you know, there is in the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew, there is what is the name again? Ends. So you can use your debit or credit card and send us the food. Who here is going to object? Anybody? Any objection?
I am going to object.
You're going to object. So those are the incidentals, not that the government is undergoing a broadband. Anyway, this is great news for smart home initiatives. All right.
Oh wait, can I
hold on. I'm trying to get the gist of this.
Okay.
Regardless of low knowledge, pose a far greater challenge. Okay, and this is spelled wrong. Infrastructure. Yeah. Yes. What's your question?
I was for that first sentence.
This one.
The one about the government's plan. I was looking for a suitable reference. I did get it from it was an article in the Observer. No, Jamaica Information. I think it's Jamaica Information. No, Jamaica Observer. It was the Observer.
You can use Observer.
Okay,
there's a way to reference it. But most likely it's also Jamaica Information Service probably has this has this thing. So it's always better to use something like more formal like the Jamaica Information Service. So yes, you can use newspaper articles when the things is not in the journal. So see, look like that. Look how sorry to be tapping myself on the head, but look how I'm bright. look how I'm bright, guys. I did never see this before, and I knew that the Jamaica Information System Service would have something. It's very important that Jaden called incidental. Like, what in the world? Thing that won't cost billions and probably US dollars incidentally that can change people's lives for real. Not incidental. Sorry to be harassing you like that, Jaden, but really, joke of the day. Yes, sit here. Right. So see, you can get a reference to that article. I'm sure you can Google it. Yeah, so I answered your question. Yes, it's in the Observer City. It's in Loop News. So obviously, Observer. So in order, GIS, since it's a government agency, is a better source than Observer, and certainly a better source than Loop News, because I've seen that Loop News is not so reliable. It's a new journalistic thing, you know. So the Gleaner and Observer will be better. So guys, you always take it everywhere where it's there. But of the options I see at the first Google search, I can keep going and see what else is there. 287,000 things. I would definitely go with the Jamaica Information Service for obvious reasons.
Okay.
All right, so back to wherever we were with our smart farming. Yeah. So we look at the problem statement and we looked at the purpose and the research questions now. Wow. So again, we have the same thing like the last time. You actually have 4 questions and you call it 3. You have a counting problem? Jane, I'm sure you're a smart guy. How you can't count?
There was 3 first,
right?
and then I added 1 and forgot to change it up there.
I'm teasing you. What are the current farming practices and standards being used? I said this is really big. What's digital literacy and technology usage? Technically, now we use these things when is this as 2 questions. Is there a relationship between that and that? So I'm wondering, when did you tell us about digital literacy? You see what you have done? Okay, here's a concern I have with your background is sort of like, it's okay. It's a bit long. It could be shorter. But what you've done is some of the things I would call them more in the literature review. So not the project. As far as I can tell, what you have done is you drill down to Jamaica by the 2nd paragraph, which maybe might be okay, but you didn't have much about like what's happening. Yeah, but is smart, in fact, let's go back. Is smart farming useful? Let's go back. It increases. Okay, here, this maybe it's estimated. Oh, so that is it. That's the only one that says really positive. So I'm trying to get. So all the rest of this is, hold on. You tell us about technological systems, but that's bigger than smart farming. I'm actually wondering if there's evidence that smart farming works. Because, you know, technology is big. Like, you know, that would include everything like using fancy equipment to like use, you know, fancy equipment to like pick stuff from the farm and like this is really big. So I want to say 1 sentence.
There's the one before it about the irrigation. Oh,
IoT. That's smart signing. Oh, okay. That's a different word. Has been proven to reduce much. Has been proven. Okay. Matt et al. Let me see this. Matt et al. Yeah. Anyway, here's my concern. Let's go back to the research question. So 2 things. One is it can actually go into the literature review, not in the back. It don't have to be in the background. I want more in the background about in the literature reviews you'll be writing about like smart farming globally. But let me go back to this. I'm trying to understand. You want to look at smart farming in Florida, but you've not spoken about smart farming, and I don't know why you want to bring this out. Because based on what you wrote, and it's a summary. You wrote about this. You wrote about digital literacy. Is this internet access? Because you didn't write about technology usage.
Okay.
And in fact, you use 2 terms. You use, where was it? You use digital literacy and another one. What was the other term?
Digital divide.
No, man, you had 2 types. That's another thing you talked about.
Oh, information literacy.
Right. So my question is, since I know they're not the same thing, which one are you going to focus on?
More the digital literacy.
Right. So maybe you should just focus on that in your writing. So digital literacy, is it technology usage or specifically internet? Because remember, in your background, you started talking about broadband.
Right.
I suggest that you focus, because I already know, because I've read what is digital literacy. Sorry, and technology usage is wide. So you're going to look at all technology usage? I mean, technology, for those who don't know, is not only computer technology. You know?
Oh no.
And not only that, if you even computer technology, that's wide. So this is a rather wide thing. You really want all of that? And then you want to now look at this and digital literacy and level of interest and willingness. And then where did you tell us about the level of willingness? So this whole area is digital farming. Let's look at, what you call this? Let's start with this. No. Let's adopt technology, copy. You see, you did not write about this in your background. You didn't write about that. So why is that what you're focusing on? I should say you didn't write about it. What about it? You said it. You said at some point that people have, Google, not Google Scholar, I want to mean Google Scholar. You wrote about it briefly. I'm not sure. Let me see. I shouldn't say that. Let's go back to the problem statement before I do what I'm doing. Yeah, so look at this. See some articles, and I'm saying when you go to the next version, which is the literature review, you want to look at more articles on smart farming. And one of the things I want to do, apart from doing that, is I want to look and see if there's any systematic. Let's see if there's any systematic reviews. There are systematic reviews. What did you learn from the systematic reviews? Did you look at any? That's my rule. If you're doing a topic, you always look to see if there are any systematic reviews because it gives you an overview. Did you read any? I said read. Did you even read the abstract of any? This is a yes, no question.
I believe I did.
You have to read.
I believe I did.
You believe?
I believe I did. I believe I did.
Okay, so in fact, there's so many. I'm actually wondering if they're in developing countries. Let's see, somehow I doubt it. No, there doesn't seem to be any specifically in developing countries. Well, here. Oh, this is mobile commerce. No. Oh, there's a system review and monitoring in monitoring and in smart agriculture. Interesting. No, that's just, let's take out the developing countries and go back and look at the options. Yeah, so you basically want IoT solutions. This one is 30, this one is 11. So I'm going to go with the one with the more references. Let's look at one quickly because I want to get a sense of what the thing says. Maybe it's already in your reference. Let's see what the abstract says. Okay. Let's go with yes, whatever you're doing. I don't want to do that. What's that here? Is it this? Here. Okay, so this is telling me, yeah, this is it. They did review aims to identify a long list of things. The review shows an evolution in the way data is processed in recent years, traditional to prevent crop problems and improve the accuracy of top-down. Okay, so this is actually looking at preventing problems in crops and improving the accuracy of diagnosis, I guess maybe of problems with the crops when they have. So all of this.
Diseases, crop diseases.
Yeah, so the application includes plantation, monitoring disease control, irritation, the processing of the data, the transport. Oh, so at least now I get idea and said, like glancing at this, I see that these are the layers in IoT solution architecture. Yeah, man, people definitely need some knowledge because I'm already going, wow, this is kind of complicated. This is the kind of networks that are used according to that literature review. And this is what they did for the search. And then they're telling us at the end of the research, this is what they found in terms of papers. So there's more papers as time goes by. And they looked at indoor and outdoor agriculture. These are the types of things that they was used. And here's the whole heap of types. Smart IoT for smart families used for chemical control, crop monitoring, disease prevention. Long list of things. What's along this? Supply chain traceability. So some of these things are definitely for bigger farmers. Maybe something like crop monitoring and debris prevention may help with a small farmer who is not very internet savvy. I'm just reading what is there. I'm like, wow. So this is clearly increasing and then this is telling us a different use in agriculture. The physical sensors, your topic. But the point is, yes, it's being used. What I don't know here, this is what I'm kind of curious about. It's just telling us about the types. I'm wondering if anywhere in this paper, they're they're going to tell me oh, this is basically telling me about the data, how the data is used. The most common application of IoT for smart is a monitoring of crops. So here, this is important. You're telling me things I don't tell me what I want to know. I want to know how is it used and is it effective? In very short time, I found that. But by the way, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm trying to get the gist of where this is going. So my curious question is, so this particular systematic review is not telling me what another thing, which is, since you want to know about are the people interested, let's now go to that. What I want to see, let's close this down and go back to this. What I want to see is technology acceptance. So there's this piece on paper. This is the Internet of Things in smart farming, it's in a particular country. Let's look at this one in Thailand. So there's some studies. Right? This is an individual study. So this individual study published last year is about smart farming IoT in some Middle Eastern country. I'm looking at if the people accept it. So it will take 2 seconds. I always go to the right because sometimes the one on the left doesn't open. But by the way, let's see how long it takes to come up. Don't know. Waiting, not coming, taking long. Let's open this one and see if it works. So here it is. So it might just want to show me the abstract, but here it is. This is the oh, it did open, just took long. Let's make it bigger. So you guys saw that trick. There are actually other tricks too. But let's make it smaller so you can see. This is telling us that smart farming can be used for agriculture, and it's telling me, because by the way, I know about this, so maybe I should teach it in class. There's this theory that people use to figure out if people are willing to use a technology. And they did a study in some Middle Eastern country, I don't know which one, and what they found is that these things, performance expectancy, effort expectancy, all of this, had an impact on the intention to use IoT technology. So whether you think it would work, how much effort it would take to do, whether other people believe it would be useful, whatever individual factors are, I don't know. And facilitate conditions would be things like, do they have internet access or whatever, things like that would be facilitated. The results indicated that, so the policymakers, like what you're saying, need to figure out whatever. And SmartFarm could not be promoting unless the farmers had fulfilled this prerequisite factor proposed by the research results for using the IoT technology. And so here is what's IoT. And this is, they give some background. And this is what the study shows. And this is the data, the people from the study. This is a whole bit of things to work out. But I'm saying all this to say that, back to your topic, there's some individual studies that looked at people's readiness or technology acceptance for using smart farming. We didn't talk about that at all. You know why I say that? Because that's one of the
Research
primary
questions.
And if you have nothing on it in there apart from it, you have a sentence. Yeah, that sentence they say that, which is true, that people, if they don't know how to use it, they won't. Yeah, but people did research on that. So you're supposed to at least do 1 or 2 references. See, and our idea was I put in smart farming technology acceptance, and for 42,000 results.
Okay.
And if I want it recent, I go since 2007, 16,000 results. And by the way, in general, you look at the title and the abstract and you go next. You don't just look at one page, because sometimes a lot of the articles you find is not really on it. And just reminding everybody, let's go to UTEC again. Just reminding you, no, not that UTEC. What's a regular UTEC? UTEC, why is it going to UTEC? What's annoying me? There you go, UTEC. Right, so remind you guys, if you're a registered student, you can go to students, and on the students, you will see the library. Where's the library on the students? Trying to find, I know where it is on the other page. If it's down here with these things, there, is it there?
I usually use the library in Google and just access the link
Oh,
from
that
there.
successfully. Well, that works. I can't even, I know it is in the,
Right.
sorry.
That
Here it
works for
is.
me.
It's second under the web application. I didn't know what it was. I know where it is for the student, but point is,
Mhm.
you can find it. And here it
Mhm.
is. You want to either email the one for our faculty, as if you're having problems, trace your price, or you want to email the overall like, reference librarian.
Mhm.
Don't bother email the university librarian. This thing doesn't work so much, so don't bother waste your time with this. Send an email. But you can do this too. This can be a backup. So this ask the librarian is supposed to be a chat that they respond within a certain time. I won't promise you it won't work. It used to work more often, and since COVID has gotten worse. This is supposed to be a chat between the hours of maybe 10 to 4 or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm not promising anything, and I don't mean any way to saying what the facts. So, guys, in addition to what I told you, there is, so let's go back to the library. You can go to the knowledge portal, and there are these online databases. You use online databases. So, for SCIT, ASM, Social and Computer Machinery, EBSCO, IEEE, which is Engineering and Computing. What's in here would be useful.
ProQuest was
Sage, ProQuest can be useful, yeah. Sometimes Taylor and Francis, actually. All of those can be useful.
Mhm.
And so you might also say, what in the world, where am I going to think? Because guess what? These things all cost money. So it's just how it is. There used to be a knowledge portal. That's not here. There used to be another one that found more of the articles. But basically it's either if you can't get the actual full thing through Google Scholar, you need to come to an online database or reach out to librarians for assistance. So if you go back to this article, I'm thinking that right now, this is interesting, but it's too broad. So the first one I want to go to is this, but this don't sound like computing. And what in the world? So I'm taking out this because not that this couldn't, unless you want to look at what are the digital, unless you want to look at digital farming in Jamaica. But since we know almost know where digital farming is, that useful?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
How many farmers are currently using digital, whatever you call it, smart farming?
It would most likely be the persons who were in that program that was done last year, I believe, or started
Would it
last
be
year.
very useful to do a research question looking at those few people?
Not just them. Not just them.
No, you're not getting me. When you propose undergraduate, in fact, not undergraduate, if you're even proposing a PhD research project, it's supposed to have a scope. You want to look at everything with farming, plus digital literacy, and what it relates, and if people are willing to use, it's too much. Just trust me. If you don't believe me, go and find some other person who's in research who will tell you the same thing. But I'm telling you, aside from that, that first question has nothing to do with computing. So sorry, that's not going to be a research question. The whole project right now too big.
Okay.
It's too big. I'm just telling you as it is, not really. Myself and David White, the program director, we both like to the projects are too big. And both of us will tell you that this is too big, and we love too big. And too big is always a problem. So somebody who would like too big is telling you this is way too big.
And I don't think there was anything in the background that relate to the first question anyway.
Yeah, so I think that this will probably go into the literature review. So I don't see anything in here that is, everything in here I think is important, but some of it could go into the literature review. Because at the end of it, what you actually want to do is the stuff in your background. You actually want to tell us that there is a problem. Here at the end of it, you do want to tell us that smart farming could either there is either scholars believe that smart farming could impact crop production, or it does. I don't even know, but you need to say something like that. That's why that's the purpose of your first sentence. You didn't bother to focus too much on the production problem. You just want to focus on smart farming either helps or could help. I'm not sure which one you're actually trying to say. You actually say here it proves in water nutrition and food growth, so then what that seems to be the point of the sentence you need to put in our so I think a good attempt. So who else is in your group that's in the class? So is Erica Lee in the class? in this class?
Yes. She's not here anymore, which she was here.
What do you mean she's dropped the class?
As in, she was in the tutorial, but
Uh-huh.
it seems like she left the tutorial. Today,
Oh.
that is, today.
Oh, okay. But
Right.
she's still in the
Right,
she's still in the class.
right. Mhm.
Alright. Just checking. Yeah, man, and you and this oh, you write a whole abstract that is 150 words. Not bad. Ah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, I actually wanted a research abstract for the final assignment. So I guess you could be there at that point. But, this is nice, yeah. Yeah, so like see here, you say it's aimed at providing information, but the thing is you don't have you have two aims, and that's another problem. In this, you tell us that the study is aimed at understanding what the farmers is doing. And then it also says it's providing information, but you don't have any research question to say if a particular if educational program will lead to, as in like digital literacy or whatever you want, or smart farming would lead to increased take up of that. And since that's a research question, your project is not aimed at doing this. This is what is called a significant knowledge. In my very strong opinion, and for those who don't know, there's a difference between an uninformed opinion and an informed opinion. And right now I'm giving you an informed opinion as somebody who does research and know a little bit. So the rules are, the purpose is you're going to collect some data, and then the data you collect, or it could be existing data that you're going to analyze, will answer the aim. This could be the impact of having the project. So if instead you were planning to do some kind of educational program to see if that would lead to some change in behavior or change in literacy, that's not what you plan to do in your project.
Okay. No.
So your
Right.
aim is not to provide information.
Right.
So you just need to, I mean, by the way, all of these things are all about learning. So I would say a good attempt. Yeah. And I had less I mean, I there's some things I said to the other group would apply to yours, you know, so I didn't go through all of that. Time I've been looking at the time. It's past the class time. That's why people are leaving. I didn't even notice. Why did Shaji say why not? So I'm over the time and people are leaving, so guys, I guess I will see you. Please come with your photographs. I see Jaden getting photographed now. Yes, Jaden, I like your side, what do you call those things? I don't know. I know it's regular, but your side is cut off. Yeah, man, this thing where I can't see people in class is just crazy. Well, guys, looking for you to send in your projects or to ask questions. See you next week at lecture or in tutorial time.
So
yes,
the final thing is due Friday.
Now, final, no, in my case, it's not the final thing, because formally, Jaden, the program director, even said, because of people are still registering, for example, in class a while ago, there's a contingent program director. I will have to extend it, but I would like an extra. So most likely there'll be an extension based on what I've already been instructed. Yeah. So if you're not getting me, I'm trying to coach how I say it. Because some people say, oh, it's not due, so I don't need to do anything.
No,
that's not my intention.
How I interpret it is I'm going to try to fix these so I can submit it Friday to get probably
some feedback.
Another set of feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's exactly the intention.
Okay.
So we're out of class time, so I hope you guys all have a good day. Let me stop sharing on YouTube.